Hi, I'm Berenice Nina Sydlinker. Let me tell you about my life. I was born in Eureka, Utah on June 24, 1905, the daughter of a poor miner named George Sydlinker and Christine Morgan. When I was about 2 years old, my parents felt there was something wrong with my health, so they took me to my father's home in Minnesota to a doctor. My folks had lost 2 children a couple of years before I was born. So, if I even had the sniffles, they were worried. But the doctor told them I was fine. I lived in Goshen, Utah until 2nd grade. Then we moved back to the mining town of Eureka. Our furniture was loaded on wagon, pulled by 2 horses. I rode it all the way sitting on top of a mattress. Guess the house we moved into was built on what they call the old Tintic Cemetery. I was left-handed. My teacher would keep me in after school night after night trying to get me to switch. She was determined I would write right-handed. I often left in tears. She eventually gave up. We had very little money. I remember my teacher put on a play Snow White. I was the only girl that was not in it. I was sad. I guess she thought my folks could not afford a white dress for me. I still got Christmas presents though, like a ring, or a doll, or the book Little Women. I grew up with my siblings Kay, Stan, and Tom. We would go in the mountains in back of our home for pine nuts each winter. We sure enjoyed them. We would also get our Christmas tree there. When I was 11 years old, I ironed for a banker's wife. Started at 7 a.m. and finished about 6 p.m. I can sure remember all the white shirts. It was my job to turn the washer by hand. Oh, yes, she paid 50 cents a day. I was the only one in the family that did not get the 1918 flu. So many friends died from it. Some close friends visited us on a Monday. By Friday 3 of their 5 children had died of the flu. I was ill most of the winter and into summer. I was feisty and sweet at the same time. At one football game, I got in a fight with a girl. She really tore my sweater. She was a large girl. All my dad said was, "I hope you got in a couple of good punches." And I did. I graduated from Eureka High School. We lived about a mile away. Mom made us wear long underwear. When I got to school, I would roll it up past my knees. I forgot to roll it down a couple of times and Mom was not happy about it. The day after I graduated, I took the train to Salt Lake. I had a job at the Holy Cross Hospital. I was in charge of the help dining room for the nuns and doctors. The nuns were very strict but were very good to us. Once a month, we could go to a dance, but we'd best be in by midnight and not a minute late or the nuns would lock the door. I went to work at J.G. McDonald's Candy Company. I worked on piecework. I had to wrap candy bars and at times brush the mouse leavings off the counter. Well, we had a good brush. Then I met Doyle in October of 1924. We were both at the drinking fountain at the same time. Doyle and I decided to get married after the next payday. We were happy, we thought we had the world. We were married December 20, 1924. Mom had to leave for home by 3 p.m., so we were married at the Smiths at 421 Emerson. Father Smith and Mom signed the marriage license. We were married in their front room. Then we rushed Mom to the depot to catch the train. That day, I found 50 cents and snow up to my knees, so we were really riding on high. Doyle and I rented a 1-room at the McLeod Apartments. It had just 1 bathroom to a floor. It was over halfway down the hall. I was so afraid, so I would have to have Doyle walk down the hall with me and wait while I went to the bathroom. I was really sick with the flu in early February. Doyle bought me a record, "Let Me Call You Sweetheart." I think I still have that record. We then moved to a basement apartment on 3rd South and 3rd East in Salt Lake. It was a long walk to work, but we did not mind. My family struggled financially, so we had them live with us for a time. This photo is with the Smiths. We bought Doyle's parents' home. I was pregnant and none of the family were working and Doyle was only making $15 a week. We were behind on our house payments. We had to get an old car and we got a radio, and it was all on credit. And then came the day when we lost the home, the car, and the radio all in one day. We grew up fast that year. I was extremely possessive and very conscious about money after this. On October 24, 1925, Doyle was born. We didn't name him until 2 years old since we could not agree on the name. He had stomach problems and his growth was stunted until his appendix was removed. During World War II, he joined the Navy. What a terrible 2 years that was for us. Gail was born there on October 17, 1927. At 16, he had polio and wasn't able to walk. After 3 years of recovery, he was able to walk again. In 1928, my dad fell really ill for 9 months. I went to help him out. I would have to walk across town from the depot, so Doyle would hold onto the suitcase, and I would carry the suitcase and Gail. I would put Doyle on the foot of Papa's bed and take a large duck safety pin and pin through Gail's nightgown clear into the mattress. He was in the next room, but I was so afraid he would fall out of bed. My dad died in June at 53. We moved to Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, and Denver while my husband worked for various grocery stores. We were inactive in church early in our marriage, but after we moved to Colorado we were more involved. I found time to fulfill my obligations with the church. I was the Relief Society president for a time. I devoted all my time and effort to my family's health and well-being. I was an excellent baker. I gave my full support in everything Doyle wished to do. Once we had car problems in Wyoming, then a hitchhiker came and helped. We gave him a ride, but his nervous twitch made me nervous, so I sat in back with the boys and with that loaded revolver under a blanket on my lap. Luckily, it was never needed. Doyle and I liked to visit the mountains. We loved raising our children in Colorado. Here is a park in Denver. My granddaughters Debbie and Pam took me to Denny's. They said they were paying and I jokingly yelled, "Help, thief." The waiter came over to see if everything was all right. That was embarrassing. We had celebrated our 60th anniversary in December 1984. What a marvelous memory for me. Doyle had another heart attack. We were watching The Wizard of Oz and he said, "I can't keep these characters straight," and I said, "Don't worry, we will all end up in Kansas anyway." At that he gave a gasp. I jumped for him and sought help, but on March 4, 1985 he passed away. I then spent the last 16 years living alone. I'm lucky to have some true friends that help as they can and of course the family with their help. No holiday is easy, but one must make up one's mind because there is nothing one can do about it but must just go on. I lived at 1610 Fairfax in Denver, and have been there since January 1950, and I have beautiful memories of our years there. I had pretty little dolls and other figurines throughout my house. I always had my fingernails painted a soft pink color. I died at 95, on May 9, 2001. I am buried at Fairmount Cemetery in Denver, Colorado next to my beloved husband. I am Berenice Sydlinker Smith. I was 5'3", but was a tiger if felt threatened. I was the backbone of our family and placed nothing ahead of it. Thank you for listening to my life story.